Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Spellslinger, and if you are new, please hit the subscribe button. If you are into free-to-play content or deck building, deck profiles, anything like that, I'm trying to reach broader audience and build a community. If you could help me out and hit that subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate it. Today, we are going to be doing a Shark Kraken Control deck profile. A couple of you guys have did request it about last week, and I went ahead and just put something together for you guys. I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's Shark, just rank 4 control, lots of like trap cards, floodgates, and negations, and our good friend, of course, Totally Awesome. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into this deck profile. So as far as our hand trap lineup, we're only playing 6. I did run out of the Ultra Dust, so I wasn't able to craft a third Max C, so that's why that's blotted out, and I just replaced it with a Solemn Warning. So if you're wondering why that's there, that's why. But for our purposes here, what the ideal deck for me should look like is 3 Max C and 3 Ash. It's just pretty standard across every regular, I guess, deck nowadays. But that's our hand trap lineup. We're playing 3 Baytuneful Princess. If it's normal or special summoned, you can banish it and then special summon a level 4 or lower fish type from your deck, except Baytuneful Princess, and then you can only use it once per turn. Of course, after that, typically your target is going to be the Buzzsaw Shark, which is arguably the most important part of this deck, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So, just more a couple starters. After that, we're playing 3 Silent Angler, really good extender. If you control a water monster, you can special summon Silent Angler from the hand, but you cannot special summon monsters from the hand for the rest of the turn, which is okay. There are really good ways to work around that. Playing 2 of the Tenny Spirit Chithana. It's a water, level 4, and if you control no effect monsters, you can special summon it from your hand. So just a really good starter. We're playing 1 of the Right Hand Shark as a monster to summon off of the Buzzsaw Shark effect, but also if it's in the graveyard and you control no monsters, you can special summon it to your side of the field. We were playing 2 Lantern Shark, where if it is normal or special summoned, you can activate the effect to special summon a 1 level 3, 4, or 5 water monster from your hand in defense position. We're only playing the level 4s, so we're gonna, if you have any applicable monsters to summon off of that, then you can. And then you can't special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except for Exceed monsters, which is completely fine because we are playing 15 Exceed monsters, so it's not a problem whatsoever. And then you can only use that effect once per turn. And then if we were playing rank 5s, then the last effect would be more applicable. But for our purposes, it is not. Moving on to arguably the best monster in the entire deck, Buzzsaw Shark. Such a good card. So you can target a water monster you control, including itself, special summon from your deck in defense position 1 fish monster with the same level as that monster, but with a different name. And if you do, it can't activate its effects. And then of course we're locked into Exceeds for the rest of the turn after it resolves. But Buzzsaw Shark, really good, really good. Play it at 3 no matter what you do. There's a lot of different variants that you can do with this deck, but for the most part, Buzzsaw Shark and 100% of the time should be played at 3. More extenders, we're playing 3 of the Silent Sea Nettle. You can cut this to 2 if you want to make room for something else. That's completely fine, but if you control a water monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, but you can't special summon monsters except for water monsters for the rest of the turn, so you have to be careful about that. 3 Pot of Desires, pretty standard in most like rogue-ish decks right now, and even standard in some top decks at the moment. But pretty standard. Banish 10 cards and then draw 2. Playing White Mirror, really good card. You target 1 level 4 or lower fish monster in your graveyard. That's literally everything, and then special summon it, and then add another copy of that same monster that you special summoned from your deck to your hand, which is awesome. Definitely ash bait for that. Definitely. I decided to include Whitefish Salvage. Not a lot of decks are, but there's a good resource loop that you can get where you go into a Bahamut Shark, detach, and then activate the Whitefish Salvage and just keep getting a Buzzsaw Shark every single turn. But yeah, you can target a fish monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. That's the main effect that you use for our purposes here. And then if this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can take a fish monster from your deck and either add it or special summon it. So that's also a really good effect as well. For our control cards, we are playing 3 of the Solemn Judgment, 3 of the Solemn Strike, and the Solemn Warning, of course, because I ran out of Ultra Dust to make another Max C. Just a bunch of cards that, say no. And then the Goes in Match, we are playing Goes in Match because literally 90% of our entire deck, barring a couple cards in the extra deck, are waters. And since you can only control 1 attribute, that's not a problem, and that shuts down a lot of combo decks, and especially like the one that you'll see in the replay coming up, that it just is really good. So there is that. There's the main deck. If you have any questions or suggestions on things that you would run a little bit differently, please let me know. But we'll get into the extra deck now. We are playing the Utopic Future package, so Utopic Future and Utopic Draco Future. You summon the Utopic Future by overlaying any 2 of the same Xyz numbers with the same rank, except for number monsters, and we're not playing a ton of the number monsters, so that's not going to be a problem. And then you can just slap the Utopic Draco Future on top of that. We don't need to worry about the Utopic Future's effect, but the Utopic Draco Future is a monster negate, and then you can take control of that monster if it was destroyed, which is really cool. And then Totally Awesome, we summon the Totally Awesome off of the Bahamut Shark, and there's a cool loop that you can do with this as well. So of course Totally Awesome is just an Omni negate. You have to send itself or an Aqua monster, which is completely fine. And then when it's sent to the graveyard, you can add back a Aqua monster from your graveyard back to the hand. But for the most part, you're going to be having Totally Awesome go back to the deck. Because Toad is limited to 1, you really have to be careful with where you use the effect of Toad, because if you lose it and you can't get it back with Bahamut to go into it on following plays, then you're kind of out of luck. So when it comes to that, you really have to be careful. But for the most part, it's totally fine. As you'll see in the replays and whatnot, it totally works out. We're playing 2 of the Bahamut Shark for that reason, though. Detach and summon a rank 3 or lower Xyz water monster from the extra deck. Bahamut Shark can't attack for the rest of the turn, but that's okay too. Summon out the Toad using that effect, and then you have just more bodies and everything like that. Abyss Dweller cuts off graveyard access for your opponent and also boosts all water monsters on the field by 500, which is awesome. Full Armored Black Ray Lancer, I didn't go into it at all, so this is definitely something that we could cut to make room for something else. I'm not going to read it, it doesn't really matter anyway. I'm only including this because this was my first royal rare that I pulled, the Hopewoven Dragon Spider Shark. It can come up, you can get it out with 2 level 4, so it's generic. Detach, and then all monsters your opponent controls lose 1,000 attack, and then if it's sent to the grave, if it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon a monster in your graveyard. And just go into further plays like that. But pretty cool. I'm just mostly just showing it here because it's special, because it's the first royal rare that I pulled. Don't judge, okay? Don't worry about it. We are playing a little bit of a Zodiac package, so we can go into Zeus easier, Borbo, and the Chakanai, just overlay onto a couple level 4s and go into Borbo, attack directly, and lay Zeus on top of that. We are playing the 2 number 4 Stealth Kraken. All face-up monsters on the field become water. That's very important if you have, a Utopic Draco that can now be boosted by 500 because of Abyss Dweller. Just a lot of things that you can do there. But during the main phase, which is a quick effect, you can destroy one water monster your opponent controls, and because Stealth Kraken makes everything on the field water, that is literally anything that they have. And then you deal damage to their life points equal to half of the attack of that monster destroyed. And then it floats into a Stealth Kraken, which has a similar effect. It can destroy a water monster, and then that floats back into the Stealth Kraken, which is really cool. So it's just a good loop to have right there. The last 2, we have a Drill Driver Vespinato. You can overlay this on top of any rank 4 monster, which is good, and then it does piercing, as well as it's when it is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can target a level 5 or lower monster in the graveyard and special summon it once per turn. But just really good if your opponent's walling up. Really big body, 2,500, so definitely not bad. And then, of course, the last monster we're playing is a copy of Zeus, limited to 1, understandable. Have a nice day. But board wipes, non-targeting, like removal, just really good for any deck that's, of course, playing exceeds. But yeah, that is the deck and extra deck. Like I was saying, if you have any recommendations or questions or anything like that, feel free to let me know down in the comments. Would really appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button. We are going to get into a replay with this deck, showcasing a combo, the resilience, and what it can do going into late grindy games. So we'll go ahead and get into that right now. Alright, so getting into this replay here, it was a really fun match. I think this deck, this match really shows what the deck is capable of going into a more grindy game, and there was a cool interactions with the Sunny Snitch. But we'll go ahead and get going. They end up going first. We chain the Max C to what they're doing because we know that they're playing the Live Twin. We can get as much advantage as possible before they decide to actually start committing to plays. Normal summon the Live Twin, special summoning the Leela. We get a card off of the Max C, and now they go into the Evil Twin Leela, get another card, activate the effect, and now they special summon back the one of the other Live Twins, and they go into the Evil Twin, the Kisa kill, and then pass turn there. Now we have a ton of cards to work with, ton of things that we can do. So what we end up doing is normal summon the Baytuneful Princess. Of course, we're gonna have to take 200 every time that we summon. Use the effect to go into a Buzzsaw Shark all this time, you know, taking the damage. Use the effects to summon out the other one to destroy our monster. We activate the white mirror to bring back the Buzzsaw Shark and then add a copy of Buzzsaw Shark. From here, they end up going into a Paleozoic Dynamiscus, and from there we can't really do anything else, so we just set goes in, and warning, and then pass it back. So we have the things that we can do here. We activate the goes in match because they do run multiple attributes, and they're forced to pick between the two. Goes in match, they decide to stick with the darks, and then they add another copy of the Sunny Snitch. Activate the other copy of the Sunny Snitch, and then add a La Treat, and then they just activate the Monster Reborn. I don't want them to continue to get advantage, so I just go ahead and solemn this, and we need to preserve as much of our life points as possible, which seems counterintuitive going for a solemn warning, but trust me, the logic was there in my head when I made the play. Anyway, so they go ahead and attack, and then pass it back to us. Now, we have 4,300 life points to work with. We're going to take 400 points of damage every time that we any time that we summon a monster. So we're going to go ahead and normal summon the Lantern Shark, bringing out the Buzzsaw Shark. Activating the effect of the Buzzsaw Shark to summon out a copy of Right Hand Shark. All this time taking a ton of damage. Summoning out the Silent Sea Nettle. Make this go a little bit quicker. We're going to overlay into a copy of Bahamut Shark. We're going to take, of course, more damage here. Activate the effect of the Bahamut Shark to get our Totally Awesome. And then even more damage. We're getting close to enough, but we go into an Abyss Dweller to boost all of our monsters, and we end up just going ahead and clearing up their board. We can't attack with the Bahamut Shark, of course, and we are locked into water monsters, but from there they just decide to scoop, and it was just really easy to go ahead and take that game from there. But guys, thank you so much for watching. This was my deck, or my Shark deck profile, Kraken Control, whatever you want to call it. If you want to see anything specific, definitely let me know going into the future. I know a couple of you guys were requesting this deck specifically, so I'm definitely trying to listen to my audience. If you want to see anything specific, please let me know. Until next time, I will see you guys later. I have been Spellslinger. Take care.